Good evening, you guys. My name is Jennifer. I am 30 years old, and I just wanted to get on here and do a complete story of my breast cancer journey. So let's start from when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with stage 4. Not stage 4. When I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed with stage 3B, invasive ductal, HER2 positive, April 18th, 2016. And I discovered the lump myself on my left boob. I went to the doctor, just my regular family physician, and at first they were treating me for a cyst and then an abscess. And so after a month of not getting better, they finally sent me to the breast care center in Tupelo, Mississippi. So I went there, and when I had my mammogram done, I had to have 2 mammograms, and then I had the ultrasound done, and then the ultrasound tech did it, and then I was assuming that it looked concerning to her, so she called the doctor in, and she looked at it, and she immediately told me that she was afraid that it was cancer. And so they wanted me to come back in that next week to have a biopsy done. So I had a biopsy done under my left arm. They did a biopsy of the lump, and then they did a biopsy right here, like on my collarbone. It wasn't painful because they numbed the area, but I could feel the pressure of her, taking that needle and going into my skin. And so it wasn't a nice experience at all. But, even then she was like, that she was afraid that it was cancer. And that was done on a Friday. And then that next Monday was when she called me and told me that it was cancer. I didn't like that she called me and told me. I wish she would have just said, "Oh, well, come in and we're going to discuss your biopsy results." I would have been okay with that. But she called me on the phone and told me. So from then on, I had my port put in May 17th, I think it was, and then I started chemo immediately May 19th, I think. And they couldn't do the surgery before chemo because my breast cancer is really aggressive and fast growing, and so chemo was going to be first. So I had Progetta, Herceptin, Carboplatin, however you say it, Taxotere, and Herceptin, Progetta, Taxotere, and Carboplatin. Yeah, I had those, and immediately, like 2 weeks after my first treatment, I immediately saw that the tumor was already shrinking, and so I was excited about that. Chemo was rough. They were giving me the Neulasta shot after each chemo treatment, and it makes your bones hurt. It was not fun at all. I hated going through that. I hated it. But it kept my counts. kept my counts where they needed to be. So I never had to go to the ER. I never was in a hospital. The first, during the first treatment. So around June, I ended up with, after having 3 treatments, I think it was in July, I ended up with C. diff. And so they stopped my treatments, and I had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days for that. Oh my gosh, it was so horrible. I'm so glad I got over that and hope I never have to go through that again. And then after I got well from that, they wanted to do an MRI of my breast to see how the chemo was helping, and it had shrunk my tumor all the way down to 1 centimeter. So it was then that they decided that I could go ahead and have my breast surgery. My surgeon, Dr. Danny Sanders of the surgery clinic of Tupelo, Mississippi, he decided on a complete mastectomy of my left, as you can see, I have no boob, of my left boob and lip nodes up under my arm, because he said he didn't want to take any chances because there were still like 8 centimeter masses in my boob, and he didn't want to take any chances with just doing a lumpectomy. So he removed it completely. As you can see, it's flat. And I think I'm going to go ahead and show it. So, and you guys, I've never showed my mastectomy to on social media or anything, so that's pretty like a big deal to me for doing that right there. And but I just want people to know what it looks like, and just not be afraid to embrace your scars from your mastectomies, whether you have one boob removed or both boob removed or just a lumpectomy. Don't be afraid of your scars, ladies and men, because men get breast cancer too. So don't be afraid of your scars. Embrace them. It took me at least maybe 3 or 4 months to really get used to having one boob, and to embrace my scar and to just love it. I did think about reconstruction in the beginning before I had the mastectomy, but now I don't want reconstruction. I don't want to wear any type of anything to make it look like I have a boob, that type of stuff. Prosthetics is what it is. I don't want to wear any of that. I'm proud of my flat chest on one side. I think I look perfectly beautiful. See? With one boob. I'm proud of my one boob. I wouldn't take it back. I would do it all over again any day. Because my boob, that left boob, was trying to kill me. So why wouldn't I get rid of it? I love it. I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people tell me sometimes, that I should wear prosthetics, or why didn't I get reconstruction? Because I don't need 2 boobs. You don't have to have breasts to be a woman. You don't have to have breasts to feel good about yourself. Never think that you have to have breasts to be a woman. And if nobody can accept you can't accept you for who you are and not what you have, then they're not the type of person that you want to be around or that you want in your life. You don't need people constantly bringing you down. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I had people in my life trying to bring me down because I made that decision of not getting reconstruction. And, you know, I just cut those people off completely. You know, you don't need people like that. Those are not real friends. They're not real supporters. If they're telling you that you need to get reconstruction, or that you need to wear prosthetics or something in your bra to make it look like you have two boobs, you do not have to do that at all. Or to make it look like you have boobs. I mean, if you have both of them removed, I mean, you don't need boobs. You don't need them. So don't ever let anybody tell you differently. You do what you feel. If you choose to have reconstruction, that's your choice. Don't ever let anyone influence you to make a decision. You make a decision yourself, and make sure you pray about it. And God will lead you down the right path. He's the only person that has a say-so in my life, because he created me and he created you. And he's the only person that should matter. Nobody else's opinion should matter but God's. So after my mastectomy, which was August 1st, 2016, I started having a skin infection on my arm. And so I was hospitalized a lot for it. And I think the longest I spent in the hospital was 2 weeks in September, from September 1st to September the 14th. My birthday is September 11th, and I spent my 30th birthday in the hospital with cellulitis. How fun is that? Not fun, but I did. But the nurses and the CNAs, they made it a great day for me. And I did have a few visitors to come bring me balloons and birthday dinner. I had a lady bring me Olive Garden for my birthday, and I had another friend to bring me balloons and cookies and stuff like that. And so it was okay. It was a good day, you know. A lot of people made it a good day for me. And so that was in September. A few days after, September 14th was when I was discharged. And then so I think they were trying to get me back on chemo. So before I left the hospital, I started having back pain in my upper right side in my back. And they were saying that it was because I was laying in the bed so much, that it was from laying in the bed. Or they were saying it was muscle spasms. And I completely disagreed with them, because muscle relaxers were not working. Sometimes pain medicine didn't even help. It was the most horrible pain, and I just could not deal with it. And so a few weeks, maybe September 22nd, I think it was, around that time was when I had to go to the emergency room because I was in so much pain I could barely stand up. And that's when they had saw something on my CT that they did of my me that night I went in the ER. And they had saw a spot on my liver and just told me to follow up with my oncologist. You know, but when I read the CT report, it said that it was probably metastatic disease, which, if you don't know what metastatic disease is basically just cancer, whatever cancer you might have. It just means that it has spread to other areas of the body, organs or blood or bones or whatever, it's spread to other areas of the body, so I saw my oncologist about it, and he did not want to do a biopsy of my liver at first. I had to practically, ask him, could I have one, because I wanted confirmation whether it was or wasn't cancer. And so I had a biopsy, and it was the most awful thing. I'm making a video on my YouTube channel. Sorry guys, that's my sister. She wanted to know who I was talking to. But so the liver biopsy was very, very painful. I can say that it was more painful than my mastectomy. Yeah, it really was. He just took a needle. I was in and out of sleep, so I was awake sometime from it. But he just took a needle and stuck me like 3 or 4 times to get pieces of my liver out with that needle, and it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. Oh, I could not. I felt like I could not breathe. I couldn't even walk for a few days. I couldn't stand up straight or anything. It was the most painful experience I've ever had, and I said I never want to have to go through that again. And they didn't want to give me no pain medicine, So I ended up having to go to the emergency room that night, just to make sure there was no complications from that procedure, because I was in so much pain. They thought that it might have been complications, but it wasn't. Okay, so I got through that, and so I ended up seeing Dr. Hinton at Radiation Oncology in Tupelo, Mississippi. And so decided to do radiation, which I only had to have 3 radiation treatments because it was such a strong dose that I only had to have 3, which I'm very, very grateful for. I can honestly say that I didn't experience any burns or any discomfort. Well, I did have pain. I could say that. But, that could have just been from the cancer, not the radiation. But I can say I did not experience any burns on my stomach area from the radiation treatments. So I was doing the radiation of my liver as well as chemo at the same time. And on the last radiation treatment I had chemo that same day. So you can imagine how rough that day was for me when I got home. I was tired. I was hurting. It was just awful, 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 awful. But I was glad that the radiation was over. So, and I started radiation. That was in November. And I had my last chemo treatment for that when they was, treating the liver, the spot on my liver. I had the last treatment in December. And so I was, excited about that. I at least thought that, I wouldn't have to deal with chemo for a while. In January, he had started me on Herceptin and Perjeta, which is not chemo, it's target therapy. And it's target therapy specifically for HER2 positive cancers, breast cancers. If you don't know what HER2 positive is, just look it up on Google right now. And let me give you a few seconds to look it up. Look up HER, H-E-R, the number 2, positive breast cancer and what it means. And I'll give you a few seconds to look that up. All right, well, for those of you who did not want to look on Google about what HER2 positive breast cancer is, I would gladly explain it to you. Okay, so hold on, you guys, I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. All right. HER2 positive is it makes your breast cancer more aggressive. It can also make it harder to treat with hormone treatments used for for other types of breast cancer. And let's see. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Give me just a second. I'm on Google. Okay. So, also HER2 positive breast cancer is a breast cancer that tests positive for a protein called human epidermal growth factor receptor 2, HER2, which promotes the growth of cancer cells. And in about 1 of every 5 breast cancers, the cancer cells have a gene mutation that makes an excess of the HER2 protein. So being HER2 positive is, I would say, a bad thing, you know. I'm HER2 positive. So, basically, it's a protein and it promotes the growth of the cancer cells. So it makes the cancer cells grow more, it makes the cancer more aggressive and more fast growing, which explains, how my cancer within only, see, I was diagnosed within 3 months, it went from stage 3B to stage 4. I'm now stage 4. So because I'm HER2 positive, my cancer is more aggressive and more fast growing. So, that's why, it's never good for me to be off of chemo for a short period of time, no matter if it's a week or two. It's never good when they delay my treatment. Like now, I haven't had chemo since the first week of April. And so, I'm at a very high risk of the cancer spreading or getting worse while I'm not on chemo. So right now, the cancer is already in my liver and brain. And since I haven't been on my chemo, the cancer in my brain could have just as well spread more. It could have spread to another organ in my body, you know. So, but I won't know any of this until I have a scan done. which hopefully I could have one done within the next week or so. I still have to have the brain MRI because when I had it done a few days ago, I got a little claustrophobic and I started freaking out and I couldn't get through it. And so I'm going to do it again, but they're going to sedate me. But yeah, having HER2 positive breast cancer is really scary, but I'm getting through it and I try to stay positive as much as I can, but it's better said than done. I can say that much because it's very hard, and I'm going to try not to cry in this video as much as I can. But you know, it's hard. It's hard. So, breast cancer spread to my liver. Finished chemo for that. Finished radiation in November. Finished chemo in December. January, he started me on the Herceptin and Perjeta target therapy for the HER2 protein in my body to slow it down. Oh, and I was going to have to be on those two. I was going to have to be on Perjeta for 6 months and then Herceptin for a whole year. So until January of 2018. Well, I ended up having some really, really bad stomach pains and ended up having to go to the ER at the end of January. So that's when they found that instead of the one spot on my liver, it was now completely, the cancer had spread all over my liver. So it is now covering my liver completely. Now I don't know about right now at this minute, but I know in January when I had another CT scan, it had went from one spot to multiple spots on my liver. And so they put me back on chemo. Then I ended up being in a hospital for something. I also forgot to say that last year in October was when I found out about my first blood clot, which happened to be in my lung, and they hospitalized me for that. And then they also hospitalized me for a blood clot that they had found in my right arm. It was causing 100% blockage in my arm. My arm was swollen. I could not move it. I couldn't even hold it up like this. I had to wear a sling around my arm to keep it up because I couldn't hold it up. I was in so much pain. Dr. Justin Pardon, he's my vascular surgeon from Tupelo, Mississippi. He ended up doing surgery a few days later after I found out about the clot, and he removed the clot, and I can't tell you how much relief I felt after that surgery. I felt relief immediately once I got back to my room, because I was in a hospital when he did it, and I went back to my room, and I felt so much better. You know, the swelling went down immediately, and I felt good. I was so glad. And then they had put me on Xarelto, 20 milligrams, and I guess that helped dissolve the blood clot that I had in my lung. I never had any problems out of the one in my lung. I never had any problems with my breathing or anything like that, which I'm very lucky and very grateful and very thankful, and that I never had any problems out of that blood clot. So let's fast forward again to, you know, them finding, instead of one spot in my liver, now they found multiple spots in January. And they put me on chemo again. And Then in February, I ended up having to be in a hospital for something. I don't remember what. And so while I was there, I began to have falls. I fell once getting out of bed, and then I fell again just walking out of the bathroom. So they wanted to do an MRI on my brain to see if there was something there that was causing my falls. So did that. Later on that day, my oncologist, Dr. Nicholas Mariakis, I might be pronouncing his last name wrong, you guys, but I think that's as close as saying it as I can get. We usually just call him Dr. Nick, but he's from the Hematology and Oncology Clinic in Tupelo, Mississippi. And he's my oncologist, and he came in the room and told me that they had found a small spot on my brain. And that it was cancer. I can't say that I cried. I probably cried a few weeks later. Because, sometimes things don't hit you until later on. Yeah, I kind of felt discouraged. I kind of felt like, then I kind of felt like, well, the chemo isn't working. What's going on? I felt like it was failing. Everything was failing. I felt like I was failing, myself. I just want more than anything to get better, and I just want to be cancer free so bad, you know. Gosh, I pray so much for the day that I'm able to say that. But in reality, I know that I will never get to say those words because, just to be honest, no one is fully ever cancer free. You're always going to have those cells in your body, and it can always come back once you have cancer. And and then once you reach remission, it might be 20 years you're in remission. It might be 2 weeks. It might be 5 years. It don't matter, it can always come back, So, I never really ever think of, I believe, that's just me, that you can never be cancer free. But me personally, in my situation, with me having stage 4 breast cancer, metastatic disease that has spread to my liver and my brain, and it's not called liver cancer or brain cancer. It is still breast cancer. It has just spread to my brain and liver. I think that's another thing that people are confused about. I don't have brain cancer. I don't have liver cancer. I still have breast cancer. No matter where it's set in my body, it originally started in my breast. So it is breast cancer. Okay? I know that I will never be cancer free. This is something I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life because it's so bad. And I think so many people don't realize that because if you see me out, I'm usually at Walmart getting prescriptions. If I'm at Walmart, it's because I'm getting my prescriptions filled, or, I'm doing a little grocery shopping, or getting a couple of things that I might need, because I promise you I don't go to any other store but Walmart. I might go somewhere else around the area, but I'm always at Walmart, always. And I might go out and get me something to eat, but that's it. You won't see me anywhere else. I don't go out. I don't do anything. Sometimes I don't have the energy to do anything. And I'm in pain. every day. There's not a day that goes by that I am not in pain. I'm always in pain, always. And people tell me that I don't look like I'm sick, and that's one remark that I don't like. I don't like that, and I don't like being told constantly to stay positive. I don't like that, and I would really rather people not say that to me, and I would rather people not say that I don't look sick, because sick does not have a look. So, where is that? Anyway, and so then when they found a spot in my brain, they changed my chemo again. And then in March, they changed it again to the one that I'm on now, which is spelled, let me look it up and I'll tell you how it's spelled. Give me just a second. Let me pause right quick, you guys.